Well, our internet is spotty and in and out, and so I thought it would be better to just record what we would be doing for math today. If you have any trouble, you can message me through GoGuardian, and I will be available to help you. Today we are talking about partitioning shapes. We learned about fractions, and we talked a little bit about partitioning shapes and did a little bit with that. And then we moved to geometry and we talked about quadrilaterals and polygons. And so today we are going to watch a couple of videos and learn about partitioning shapes.
Hi, welcome to Math Antics. In this video, we're going to learn about special kinds of polygons called quadrilaterals. Quadrilateral is just a fancy math word for a polygon that has exactly 4 sides and 4 angles, like this one. You should recognize this shape, of course. It's a square, and a square is a special kind of quadrilateral. It's a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides, and it's special because all 4 of those sides are exactly the same length. And all 4 of its angles are exactly the same size. In fact, they're all right angles. Notice also that a square is formed by 2 pairs of parallel sides. These 2 opposite sides are parallel, and these 2 opposite sides are parallel. We'll see why that's important in a few minutes. Okay, so squares are an important type of quadrilateral, but we're going to make some changes to the square to see what other types of quadrilaterals there are. The 2 things that we can change are the sides and the angles. Let's start by changing the sides. Let's stretch our square in one direction so that one pair of sides is now longer than the other pair. This is what we call a rectangle. A rectangle is a quadrilateral that still has 4 equal angles. Notice that when we stretch the square, the angles didn't change at all, but it does not have 4 equal sides. Again, notice that just like a square, a rectangle is made from 2 pairs of parallel sides. All right, so that's a rectangle, but going back to our square, what if instead of changing the sides, we had just changed the angles, like this? What we have now is called a rhombus. A rhombus is a quadrilateral that still has 4 equal sides, but it does not have 4 equal angles. And once again, just like the square and rectangle, the rhombus is made from 2 pairs of parallel sides. Okay, going back once more to our square. What if we tried changing both the sides and the angles? Here's what we end up with, and we call it a parallelogram. It's called a parallelogram because even though its sides are not all equal and its angles are not all equal, it's still made from 2 pairs of parallel sides. Get it? Parallelogram. Now wait a second. If that's the definition of a parallelogram, a quadrilateral that's made from 2 pairs of parallel sides, then wouldn't all these other shapes be parallelograms too? Exactly. All of these shapes are parallelograms, just like they're all quadrilaterals. It's just that we have special names for them if their angles are all equal, a rectangle, or if their sides are all equal, a rhombus, or if both their sides and their angles are all equal, a square. Okay then, if all the quadrilaterals we've seen so far are examples of parallelograms, what's an example that's not a parallelogram? Well, to see one, let's start over with our square again. But this time, we're going to change it by moving just one of its vertices, like so. Now, one of the pairs of sides is still parallel, but the other is not. And a quadrilateral that has only one pair of parallel sides is called a trapezoid.
All right, so that was about quadrilaterals. Now we're going to watch another Math Antics about polygons.
Hi there, welcome to Math Antics. So far in our series in geometry, we've learned about points, lines, planes, and angles. In this lesson, we're going to learn about another important element of geometry. We're going to learn about polygons. You probably already know a lot about polygons because you see them all the time. Here are some common examples that you might recognize. These shapes are all polygons. That's because a polygon just means a multi-sided shape. And these shapes all have multiple sides. Okay, so that's a basic definition of a polygon. But to really understand what is a polygon and what is not a polygon, we need to learn about the specific properties that all polygons have in common. First, we need to know the three parts that make up all polygons. And these parts are sides, vertices, and angles. The sides are just the straight line segments that make up a polygon. And the vertices are the points where the sides intersect. And the angles are formed by the intersecting lines. In fact, in Greek, the word polygon literally means many angles. So all polygons have sides, vertices, and angles. This polygon here has 5 sides, 5 vertices, and it forms 5 angles. The next thing we need to know about polygons is that they're closed shapes. Now, what does it mean for a shape to be closed, you ask? Well, it means that the sides are connected so that there are no gaps. The area inside the shape is separated from the area outside the shape, and there's no way to get from the inside to the outside without crossing a line. It might help to think of a closed shape like a cage. If you put an ant inside the cage, then there's no way for it to get out without crossing a line. But if the shape is open, then there is a way out. So these are all examples of closed shapes, and these are all examples of open shapes. And the important thing to remember is that a polygon must be closed. And the last thing we need to know about polygons is that they're two-dimensional or flat shapes. And that means that all the vertices must lie on the same plane. If any one of the vertices were to move forwards or backwards so that it wasn't on the same plane as all the other vertices, then it wouldn't be a flat shape anymore. Flat shapes are also called planar shapes because all of their points are on the same plane. And even though polygons themselves can't be 3D shapes, you can use polygons to make 3D shapes, like a box, for example. The box is not a polygon, but each of its flat sides is a polygon. All right then, we now have a specific definition of a polygon. A polygon is a multi-sided shape that has sides, vertices, and angles. A polygon is a closed shape, and a polygon is a two-dimensional or a flat shape. And now that you know that, it's time to play Polygon or Not a Polygon. Now here's your host, me. Thank you. All right. Now the rules of the game are simple. I'm going to show you a shape, and you tell me if it's a polygon or not a polygon. Are you ready to play? Our first shape is a square. Is a square a polygon? Yes. Square has 4 sides and 4 vertices, and it's a closed 2D shape. So it is a polygon. And next we have, not exactly sure what to call this, but is it a polygon? Nope. It's close, but because it's an open shape, it can't be a polygon. All right, what about this one? Polygon or not polygon? Yep, it is a polygon. Even though the sides aren't all the same length, it is a closed 2D multi-sided shape. In fact, if you count, you'll see that it has 7 sides. What about this one? Is a circle a polygon? Well, it is a closed 2D shape, but how many sides does it have? Now that's the problem. A circle doesn't have any straight sides, vertices, or angles. It's a curved shape, so it's not a polygon. Oops. Next, we have a star shape, just like me. Is it a polygon? Yup. It has straight sides and vertices, and it's a closed 2D shape. That means it's a polygon. And what about this one? Right you are. This is not a polygon. It's a dog. Here's an interesting one. It's a closed 2D shape that does have straight sides and vertices, but it also has this curved part here. Can it still be a polygon with that curve there? No! The curved part disqualifies it as a polygon. Polygon has to have only straight sides, so this is not a polygon. And what about this guy here? Is this a polygon? Well, it is just straight lines, but two of those lines cross. And if any lines cross, it can't be a polygon. Plus, he has this big open end here. So this guy is definitely not a polygon. And last of all, what about this one? Right you are. This is not a polygon because it's a 3D shape. It's made from polygons, but the whole shape is not a polygon itself. Well, that's all the time we have for this week. Join us next week as we decide, is it bigger than one? Okay, so after playing that game, you should have a really good idea of what a polygon is and what it is not. The last thing I want to mention is that some polygons have special names depending on how many sides they have. Here's a list of the most important ones to know. Three-sided polygons are called triangles. Triangles are so important in geometry that they'll get a whole video of their own. Four-sided polygons are called quadrilaterals. Wow, now that's a fancy math word. But it helps if you just remember that the first part, quad, means four. Quadrilaterals are shapes like squares, rectangles, and parallelograms. They'll also get a video of their own. Five-sided polygons are called pentagons. Six-sided polygons are called hexagons. And eight-sided polygons are called octagons. By the way, polygons that have 5, 6, 8, or however many sides like this are called regular polygons if all of their angles are equal, and irregular polygons if their angles are not equal. Of course, there are a lot more polygons than that, but you probably won't need to know their names. As long as you know what polygons are and how to identify them, then you're ready to move on. The exercises for this section are pretty easy, so no excuses. Good luck, thanks for watching Math Antics, and I'll see you next time. Learn more at mathantics.com.
All right. The third video I'm going to let you watch on your own. And I think it's just a short video. I think it's only like 2 minutes long, maybe 3. And then you are going to work through the next group of slides.
You can identify fractions.
Oh, yeah, it's only 3 minutes long. Every single one of the videos started playing. I'm so sorry about that. So you are going to work through the next set of videos and decide which one of these shapes is divided into half, and you'll drag the half, and then each part is half, and you would drag that to the shape. And you would do that on each, just follow the instructions on each one of the slides and do what it asks you to do on each one of the slides. Remember to go back to Google Classroom and submit your work when you are finished.